yesterday, and let everybody know, hey, reach out, love your fellow family members, friends. You never know when people aren't going to be up the next day. So,
yes.
Yeah. But yeah.
And stick with us because you bring. Oh, stick with us. You bring something up that I wanted to touch base on later in the show, and that's family and family gatherings.
Okay.
So these celebrations and how your family is and how your interactions are. It seems like we're getting away from
family.
Family.
Yeah, I've noticed. Families are a little different. The family celebrations, even in my family, have grown a little different. Whereas we used to be fully packed, everybody there in the house, at grandmother's house,
right.
And everybody's there. It was the place to be. Now, everybody kind of goes off and do their own thing, and then they'll kind of trickle in and out of the house. So where there once was that main meal or gathering, everybody's ready for that meal, it's not the same.
Yeah, now when we actually cook food in my house, one of the things that we do is when I was a kid, we would sit down and actually sit down and have a meal. But now I go my way, my mom goes her way. We all just kind of go into our own little spaces, and it's
right.
It's what happened to the whole sitting down,
Start
bonding. I watch all these shows where it's oh yeah, no, put your cell phone down, turn your cell phone off. The funny part is we don't see it in average American life anymore, but we see it in the TV shows, family dinners, and putting your phones away and bonding.
Right.
Yeah.
Except it's not spreading to the home.
Yeah. Well, we know that TV has often been a misrepresentation
Yes.
of some things. However, it's nice to see that they're trying to show different ways on how they could, instill family time back into the dinner time. That is changing. So I don't know. We don't do that. We'll be on our phones. We have our phones, it's kind of that multitasking. You're on your phone, but you're still listening to the conversation around the table. But it would be nice in the event that if people were, just interacting, engaging with one another without the phones, it would bring us back to.
Yeah. One of my favorite examples. I don't know if you've seen the show. It's called Blue Bloods.
No, I don't. I don't watch TV.
Oh well, it's on Netflix and all that.
Okay.
But in Blue Bloods, they have a sit-down dinner every Sunday.
Oh, that's nice.
And you leave the politics at the door, and they get everybody together, and they do talk about what's gone on during their work days, but for the most part, they sit there.
Yeah.
And if they start fighting, then the father. We'll just be hey, stop it. This is Sunday dinner.
Right.
This is our time. No cell phones, no, arguing, just time.
I think arguing happens to be part of that culture. Sometimes families have those arguments during dinner, during holidays. I actually know a family in particular who literally every time they come together, it's just all out arguing. And I'm just wow, I can't be around that.
Oh, God, no.
But yeah, we do something similar. It's not necessarily a Sunday dinner, but we go to my grandmother's house every Sunday for Pancake Sunday. So we'll go for breakfast.
Okay.
And so everybody will, but we still trickle in here and there. So there'll be multiple family members there at one time, family members, and then, their families. So that's kind of nice because we get to still hang out with each other, even though somebody's in and out to, be there, have breakfast with everybody, and then head off to work. Another family will come in. They're in there, we're there talking, having a good time, family bonding, and then they're off to church, or they're off to an event, or they're off to a ball game, or, now there's this other thing going on. So it's nice. It's nice to be able to at least touch bases with family who you're close knit with, at least once a week. Even if it's once a month, it's still nice. Because I have on my dad's side of the family once a month or more or less, we get together. But it's nice. Fun time.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's your family.
Yeah, and your kids get to see how, everybody interacts and,
Right.
how family is.
I mean, because you end up, the more you don't do that, you end up being strangers. I mean, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're family, but who you are at 12 is not who you are at 22.
Right.
No.
And if you don't have these interactions,
We would hope,
or,
yeah.
or the right, or these or ways to find out who each other are, by doing things together and having these conversations, then you won't know.
Right.
And then you'll be, then you'll be 40, or the other generation will be in their 70s, and you still won't have a common ground of communication. Things will still be rocky when certain topics or things come up in life.
And then I think it's also really good too, because when, having family support, and, somebody happens to be going through something, they have that family support. People can talk things out. It's a safe place where, your business isn't going to go anywhere for the most part, whether it does trickle through the family, but at least they're there to say, hey, I heard about this and that. How are you doing? Are you okay? They have some advice for you. Maybe they have an opinion for you. They can sit and, as a family, or who those family members you do sit and talk with, it's kind of, and then the kids get to see how you work problems out, how you
Right.
work out your stressors, how you work out your issues. They get to see how family comes together, and then they get to learn how to be that for each other.
Yes.
Which is important. And I think that's the importance of family, one of the many importances of families, and, spending that time together. So whether they have it in the movies, maybe it's good for some people who might not have that, and they think, well, I want to do that when I have a family. That's how I'm going to,
Right.
have a Sunday dinner and do family bonding with my people. So
Right. And if you're listening, just because you've done the things the same way as far as family goes, you go to the same house every year, the same people cook the food, the same people sit around and don't really talk, that does not mean that you have to keep that tradition going.
Right.
You can change it up. You can break that mold and try to bring each other together. You can be that person. It's your family. If you really want it, you can try to do it.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys can exactly relate, but I have a very, very large family.
Nice.
So my grandma had 8 children.
Wow, nice.
So there's a lot of kids, there's
Love
a lot
it.
of grandkids, a lot
Same
of
here.
cousins. It is absolutely crazy.
It's fun,
So when we go to family weddings, it's like, oh hey, yeah, I haven't seen you since that last wedding or that last thing that we went to together.
Right.
So then, like Alex was saying earlier, the problem is when you don't talk regularly, there becomes a problem of, well, hey, how are you doing? And it's really awkward because it's like, well, I've been okay, but like, but then there's
Like, are you close enough to tell them what's really going on?
Right,
Or
right.
it's kind of one of those things where I rarely see you, so I really
So,
don't want to tell you my business.
I'm all
because-
right. I'm okay.
Yeah, you still get those fake answers where it's
Yeah.
kind of like,
Yeah,
I just don't want to get into it. But yeah, I'm good.
I have a couple family members that really I'm super close with. My Uncle Dan and my Aunt Annie and their kids, Chris and Tori. But he actually survived cancer.
Beautiful. Wonderful.
So, but I
Congratulations.
love seeing them because, like, whenever we see each other, it's all we just get down to the nitty gritty stuff
Oh,
and
yeah.
we just talk.
Because life matters every day at
Yes.
this point. And you know it, you feel it, and it's embraced that way.
Yes.
They've conquered a few things in their life, which is amazing. And so they can truly live in the moment. And there's a lot of people who haven't come into situations like that and still take life for granted.
Yes.
So all you can do is just, keep reality there with them and for them, if you can. But yeah, that's pretty awesome to be able to be, very close with family members and, just spread the love.
Yes,
Let's go
very
party
much so.
together. I don't mind. I love to party. Actually, our family party, my family, I have big families on both sides, my mom and my dad's side. And we love to party, love the loud music. I grew up with loud music. My grandmother was a jazz singer. My grandfather was a jazz musician. My family, you know, when we come together and do functions, everybody's on the mic. They're singing, they're playing, there's dancing, and it's just the norm. It's the absolute norm, and that's on my dad's side of the family. My mom's side of the family, Mexican Native American side, we get together, have fun, and on that side, it's, you know, getting together with sports. So, you know, we're volleyball games, horseshoes, board games, you know, we've got family Scrabble going on, and you know, just conversations, and the kids, you know, having tons of fun. But in the end, it's, you know, you get together and have lots of fun. I really enjoy the big families, because then it's like, even when you got those ones that you may not necessarily get along with so well, you don't have to talk to them.
Yeah. And it's
At the family functions, you don't have to talk to them. You can acknowledge, hey, hi, love you.
And it's always really nice to see everybody too, especially because when you have a small family, it's easier to get together. It's not so it's not so hard to get everybody's schedules aligned. But with a bigger family, it's like, hey, when am I going to see you? I don't know. So having a whole lot of them in one place is really, really nice.
It is nice.
Especially because a lot of my family used to live here in Stockton, but then they moved to San Diego. All my family moved away to a lot of different places. So the only times we really see each other are at, like, family weddings.
Or kind of other get-togethers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, every couple years we try and have a family reunion, but again, there's a lot of us, like... Yeah. So the problem is we have to find a place, have to rent the place, somebody's got to organize the whole thing, and it's just like... Of course.
That was my mom every year for family reunions on both sides. My mom and so we would have little family committees. We'd have committees on both sides. Oh, and we'd get together. My mom would get together. She would head it and, you know, make sure everything was in order. All the family members were accounted for, and, you know, those that were on the committee went at it and just made sure it got done, and we had a blast. So family reunions are awesome. And you get to see the families growing. You get to meet the new family members, you know, get to celebrate those who have gone before us, you know, and
then all the family members who have been recently added through marriage or other things.
True. Yes, this is true. Meet those new members. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, family is a great thing. So these family barbecues and these family events that we have getting together, you know, they might be changing a little bit in dynamics. People are busy, people are distracted, people, you know, aren't maybe necessarily thinking about what's in front of them and don't really want to cook the food that well. However, this celebration for 4th of July, my cousin had come over, and my grandmother, she decided, she was like, I'm not cooking anything. She didn't want to make anything. She didn't know who was going to be there, and I honestly didn't think that they were going to have a dinner or anything. But my aunt came through, and she was like, yeah, I'm bringing some tri-tips and, you know, a bunch of stuff. And so my cousin cooked it, and it was phenomenal. My cousin Michael, it was absolutely phenomenal. And I haven't had that in a really long time. And the way he cooked it, I haven't had it in a really long time. Ribeyes, you know, but tri-tip, you know, it takes a easy hand to be able to, you know, cook on the grill, I think. And for him to be able to keep it still super moist, and it had, you know, just a nice pink interior, you know, it wasn't totally overcooked, and it was just well done. He did a great job, and I really enjoyed it. It was late night for me after, you know, getting everybody home, and, you know, I ended up getting there almost near midnight, and they were still up, so I had a late plate, and that was nice, and it was really good.
Yeah, I think the last time I had tri-tip was when I helped out with the 44th Lions game.
Oh, nice.
When I went with Art Manor and Dustin Breakbill, or Details.
And how was it?
The Lions game? Oh, it was
and
great.
the food.
The food was great. It had been so long since I had tri-tip. I just tasted it, and I was like, oh man, like whoever cooked it, I was like, I wanted to go back there and be like, dude, good job.
Yeah, nice. Well, speaking of all of this wonderful food, Alex brought some books in because, I love to give you guys some hip hop literature. So we got some literature today on Foods That Heal by Dr. Bernard Jensen. It's Unlocking the Remarkable Secrets of Eating Right for Health, Vitality, and Longevity. And then Alkaline Herbal Medicine. And this is Reverse Disease and Heal the Electric Body. The African Biomineral Balance supports the healthy expression of the African genome and in all people. So I think this can also go for not just African Americans, but it does specifically mention some things, as far as like the genetic makeup of that. But for most people, just some basic information regarding water and energy that I want to share with you out of this book. But I definitely want to make note that excuse me if I butcher the name, but Akil Anis is the author of this particular book called Alkaline Herbal Medicine, and he has dedicated it to Dr. CB. I don't know if very many people out there who know who Dr. CB is, but he is a phenomenal person who has brought to the world the health benefits of sheer healthy eating and knowing how to really rid the body of disease through everything that we necessarily have on this planet and being able to have access to. And there are very many things that the FDA does not approve, which is supernatural, super organic, and they won't allow it here in the United States where it may very well be available to other people throughout the world. And honestly, and this is my personal opinion, a lot of the FDA guidelines or what they approve is more for the pharmaceutical companies and what they can make off of our sickness,
or just what anyone can make off of us.
Right. I mean, so they would prefer us to not heal as fast so that they can continue to sell us their medications. Right. And that's what they have to make money. That's what they can do. If they can make the guidelines to say, let's not let that in so we can have this happen, then, they're going to do that. That's big business. They don't care.
That's what it's all about. Talk about corporate America and America in general. It's big business. What can we get by maintaining this structure?
Yeah, what can we get off of each individual head in this, place that, they've birthed. We give birth, we have a birth certificate, we're all a number off top. Yes. We're all a number, and they want to know, what is this life particularly worth? What can they get from it? And so there's a lot of studies that they go and put in place.
And then what happens, sorry to cut you off, but I just had the thought, what happens is that most people take FDA and all the Food and Drug Administration, they take it verbatim. So if it's not approved by them, they're not going to want to touch it, regardless if they see the medical and health benefits for it. Oh no, well, it's not approved by our government, so I don't want it. There it is. It's that thinking. The government isn't always for your benefit.
They're right, absolutely.
Or corporations, I should say. So you have to do a little bit more research. That's what. That's why you have that tool up there.
And trial and error, test it out, see if it doesn't work for you. If they say seaweed is good for this, and you say that you do like it, because there are some people who don't like seaweed, and it is good for a particular ailment or issue in the body. I mean, why not try it? Yeah, it doesn't hurt, right? I mean, if it's organic, if it's natural. However, I have to, caution everybody because there are some things that are natural that are pretty dangerous. Like, the Mycology Society will let you know if you are looking into, because fungi has a lot of benefits for the body as well. But then there's thousands of species of fungi. Fungi. But there's thousands of species, and you just got to make sure you're eating the right ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Can't pick all those mushrooms on the mountain.
No, you'll come across some pretty crazy stuff.
Yeah, because a large portion of Americans, they see that I don't have this vitamin in my diet, so they'll go to like the store and they'll buy the FDA approved pills that have like 500 to 1,000 milligrams of this certain amount of this in it.
Well, I hope that you guys are ready to hear some more about our nutrition tips that we have from the books. And with that, we're going to go to break.
All right, yeah, so this is KXVS Morning Show. Alex, RaWnee,
and Timothy.
Here at KXVS, broadcasting from Stone Tube Studios, is the voice of Stockton.
Imagine me, a dog, moving in with a human.